This gotta stop. I'm tired of it. I'm gonna be completely real with you guys. I'm absolutely tired of what's going on right now.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so we went live and talked about it, but you know what? I want to talk about it again because there's one thing in particular that I want to kind of bring up. I brought it up in the live, but I think this is a good opportunity to bring it up for the common folk who don't join the lives. All right, so let's talk about this. San Antonio Spurs won 2 games in a row. All right. Not the biggest deal, obviously, it being earlier in the season, and the 76ers have been absolutely pathetic in their first 3 games. So it's no surprise that the San Antonio Spurs were able to come away with the win. Even with the Pacers, even though I think overall the Pacers are a better team, at the same time, we almost let that one slip away. But there's one thing in particular that I've been seeing that's really been irritating me to the utmost degree. It is so obnoxious, okay? Now, before we talk about it, really quick, if you guys want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description. I always have to bring that up. All right, so there's one thing that I noticed, okay? And this was watching the games, and this was before I even went and looked at the stats so I could have proof of this. But, oh my God, I am getting tired and sick of Josh Richardson. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, he's a spark plug and, he's a really good vet for the team. All things are true, but he is the type of player that really needs to be like on a championship or a playoff caliber team in which he's competing for something, because right now I do not like the way that we're utilizing him. And it might come down to his personality. It might come down to one of those things where the vets are like, look, give me my touches. But there's 2 reasons why I could think of why the San Antonio Spurs are doing what they're doing, and one of which is a really terrible reason and the other is an okay to good reason. Now, before I say anything, this is why I have a problem with, okay? The fact that if you look at the Pacers game, Josh Richardson put up 13 shots. 13 shots. And if you notice here, Branham didn't play. Blake Wesley didn't play. Even Romeo Langford didn't play. Isaiah Roby in that game didn't play. I don't know if it was something going on there, but he didn't play in that game. And then if you look at Josh Primo, the one that I genuinely do care about and which I want to see like succeed and be able to get his touches, he only put up 2 shots in this Pacers game, okay? So I'm going to combine these 2, all right? First, let's talk about the Pacers game and then what I saw in the 76ers game, because I didn't want to talk about this initially until I at least had 2 games under my belt where I could say, okay, this is a low-key trend. Okay, it's only 2 games, maybe not a trend, but you get my drift. I just didn't want to overreact after 1 game, but no. All right, so I do not want the Spurs to go in this tendency. So Josh Richardson during the Pacers game had 28 minutes, and Josh Primo had 21. Now, one thing that I noticed is Josh Primo took a huge defer to other players' role. Like, it was like every single play he was passing it up, and I don't know if that was coaching, or I don't know if that was just him taking that approach. I don't know if that was the vets kind of doing it. I have no idea. Now, don't get me wrong. He was dishing it out. Like, there was a lot of good passes there, but there were many of opportunities where he could have just shot it, or he could have tried to create his own shot. But guess what? He didn't get the ball at all when Josh Richardson is on the court. Josh Richardson rarely looks in his direction, and it's so infuriating. I'm not sitting here saying that Josh Richardson is like a bad teammate or anything. No. I'm not saying that at all. And that's why I'm going to go into the 2 reasons why I think this is happening. But it is very infuriating. It's very frustrating. And the last thing that I want is for the San Antonio Spurs to do the exact same thing that we did last season and the season before, the season prior, in which we have DeMar DeRozan, hey, come save the day. Or we have DeJounte Murray. Hey, man, can you save the day? All they are Band-Aids, okay? We don't need Band-Aids right now. Rip it off. We can be trash. It's fine. I just want to see the young players get minutes. There is no great reason I can think of on why Josh Richardson would get 28 minutes in a game and put up substantial more shots than Joshua Primo. I can't fathom that. I can't fathom it. He was the 3rd leading scorer in the game, at least shots that he put up. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but we'll talk about those reasons in a minute. Now let's jump to the 76ers game. It was Not the exact same thing, okay? Not the exact same thing. So this one's more of an eye test, but you can see here that Josh Richardson had 21 minutes, Josh Primo had 22. They were on the court together way too much for my liking. And you can see Josh Richardson, he put up one shot more than Josh Primo. Now, I'm going to be completely real with you. There were so many opportunities for Primo to get touches. Now, I'm very open in this, okay? I'm very open and transparent when I say I want Malachi Branham to get in the game. I want him to be able to get some minutes. I want Langford to be able to get minutes. But obviously, I also want Primo to get minutes. Now, here's the thing. If Primo's on the court with Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell, I completely get it. I am not going to trip about him not necessarily getting all the touches in the world, okay? Because in my opinion, right now, as it stands, Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell are better players than Josh Primo. But I think Josh Primo obviously is going to end up being better. But right now, yes, they're better, but also they're young. It's okay because Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell are still developing, okay? They're not prime in their careers, and they're certainly not a veteran like Josh Richardson. I don't understand him getting so many touches and looking to score every single time. Now, here are the two reasons why I can think of, or what I can think of, on why this is even happening, okay? Now, I guess we can go ahead and start with the really bad reason. And the bad reason I can think of is that we legitimately are trying to win games. Like, we think that these are the best lineups out there, and Josh Richardson, maybe analytically, because you know the San Antonio Spurs, they're always in the analytics, okay? Maybe analytically he's our best chance of winning. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know if they quantified that. I don't think we've seen enough of him last season to make that assumption, but maybe that's the case, okay? Maybe they genuinely think Josh Richardson is the key to success in winning games, and it has happened 2 games in a row now. But that's a terrible reason, because we do not have to win games. It is perfectly fine to not win games right now. So I do not like that at all. Now, here is the okay to good reason why they might be doing this. Josh Richardson, they're going to trade him. They're going to eventually trade him. And you want, especially since it's the beginning of the season, as the season goes on, things get tougher. It's harder to keep this momentum going because Spurs are playing solely with heart right now. Like, they're going 110 miles per hour. They're going really hard in the paint. But with that being said, maybe that's the case. Maybe it's, well, Josh Richardson, he needs to get his touches now so we can go ahead and bring up his value a little bit. I don't know how much higher you can make Josh Richardson's value. I would think that other teams know what they're getting, but maybe that's the case. Maybe they're like, hey, we can package Josh Richardson and we can package Doug McDermott. And as things go on, how the Lakers are looking, they might get more and more desperate, and maybe you can make a deal with them or figure something out. I have no idea though, but I will say this, okay? I will say this. Nonetheless, right now, in my overall enjoyment of the games is irritating. I'm not having a good time because I don't necessarily believe that Primo and the other guys are necessarily getting the touches that they need. Now, Keldon Johnson is getting his touches. Do not get me wrong. Devin Vassell as well. But Jeremy Sohan, I feel like, well, even this last game, he only got 10 minutes, but I feel like a lot of his touches are significantly small, and they really shouldn't be. In my opinion, Keldon Johnson, he's still developing, but he's about where he's gonna be as far as his playing style, right? We kind of know what we're getting. Pirtle, we know what we're getting. Trey Jones, we know what we're getting. Okay, really good floating game, by the way. Really great floaters. But we know what we're getting. Just a solid, point guard. Devin Vassell, I feel like he's the one that we're still kind of scratching our head, like, can he be more? But as it stands right now, 3-and-D, catch and shoot type play. We know what they are. But it's irritating because I know that Primo, we don't get to see a huge sample size of Joshua Primo yet, where he's just thinking nothing but scoring. And you can tell that it's the coaching staff. Now, that's what I want to talk about, okay? Popovich. You guys know I love me some Greg Popovich. Okay, I don't want Popovich to retire. I'm not one of those people that's like, Pop, you need to. No, Pop is the greatest coach of all time. He's a better coach than like I could ever be. Obviously, right? He's phenomenal. But there is this continuous tendency that Popovich has that scares me. Okay, it scares the crap out of me. And if you guys don't know what that tendency is, Popovich he does this all the time. He generally plays veterans. And I thought going into the season, there's no there's no way that you could go into these games and only play vets, or at least play vets to a huge degree. I was thinking there's no way. There's no way you can do that. We got too many young guys. You can't do it. And yet and still, we managed a way to do that. Now, I know it's a back-to-back, so maybe that's part of the situation where they're like, we want Josh Primo to rest the first day. I don't know. I don't buy any of that. Look, it just bothers me like crazy, man. Ooh, something in my throat. But yeah, it just bothers me like crazy, because this is something that he's always done. And before I was with it, because if we're talking like Lonnie Walker, even DeJounte Murray, they were under LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan. It's like, yeah, like we're still a fairly, you know, decent team that could compete to at least make the playoffs, you know. So in that regard, yes, play Rudy Gay, play the vets or whatever. Let Lonnie learn under them. Blah 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 blah. Okay, but this season, we don't have a DeMar DeRozan. We don't have a LaMarcus Aldridge. These are role players. I love Josh Richardson, but he's a role player. Doug McDermott is a role player. We need more Jangs, okay? I think that's what the Spurs need. They need more Jangs. They need more vets that are there for emotional support. They come in, they make the right plays. You know, they play like a veteran. But at the same time, they're not there to take over the game, okay? The moments like this is why I miss Quincy Pondexter, okay? He could lighten the mood. He was a good communicator, good teammate. He goes in, he's not going to do much, right? He's going to leave it to the young guys. That's what we need. We do not need Josh Richardson going into the game jacking up shots. I do not care. I don't care. I don't want to see it. I don't care. What's the point? What's the point of winning? What's the point of him getting more or taking more shots than Joshua Primo? What's the point of that? I want to see Keldon Johnson put up 25 shots, okay? I want him to throw up 25. I want Devin Vassell to throw up about 22, and I want to see Primo throw up about 17, okay? Every single game, that's what I want to see. But what are we getting? We're getting Josh Richardson putting up more point or more shots than Josh Primo in this game, and then in the Pacers game he put up 13 shots. That shouldn't happen. That just shouldn't happen. And not to mention the fact that Josh Richardson doesn't even look in Josh Primo's direction. It's just very irritating. I'm more comfortable with Doug McDermott because he does pass the ball around. It's anyone's game when he's out there. Same thing with Jang, but Josh Richardson got to go. I'm sorry, he got to go. I'm sorry. I'm just upset. I think it's dumb. I don't like this. I don't like this direction. We'll wait and see what's going on. I think that's probably what it is, that the Spurs are thinking to do a trade, you know, trying to bring up that value. But this ain't the way to, man, this is just irritating, man. But anyways, I'll get with you guys later. Support the channel if you want. Clan the Merch Fan, or become a Patreon YouTube member, only $2 per month. So, God, dude.